Preface. This book deals with the times in which man has finally seen what Newton in his optics foresaw, the attractions of gravity, magnetism, and electricity reach to very sensible distances, and so have been observed by vulgar eyes. And there may be others who reach to so small distances as hitherto escape observation. Between 1895 and 1983, the period spanned in this book, the smallest distances explored have shrunk 100 million volt along this incompletely traveled road inward, and has established markers that later generations will rank among the principal monuments of the 20th century. I will endeavor to describe what has been discovered and understood about the constituents of matter, the laws to which they are subject, and the forces that act on them. On these topics, Ernest Rutherford, a central figure in this book, once said that the rapidity of advance during the years 1895 to 1915 has seldom, if ever, been equaled in the history of science. The same is true of the longer period treated here. The advances have by no means come smoothly, however. I will attempt to convey that this has been times of progress and stagnation, of order and chaos, of clarity and confusion, of belief and incredulity, of the conventional and the bizarre, also of revolutionary and conservative, of science by individuals and by consulting, of little gadgets and big machines, and of modest funds and big monies. Progress has been made possible by the hard labors of many. At the time of writing, some 10,000 men and women are devoting their lives to this adventure, now called high-energy physics or particle physics. I wish I could, but shall not, name them all. Instead, I have dedicated this book to them. This book has been long in coming. Fragments here written, enlarged, and placed in broader context have appeared through the years. On quantum field theory in 1948, invariance principles 1963, the status of particle physics 1968, the early history of the electron 1972, the early years of radioactivity 1977, quantum mechanics 1982, and the positron theory to appear in Heisenberg's collected papers. I have also borrowed from an Einstein biography, Subtle is the Lord, in particular in regard to the light quantum and to relativity, one of the two disciplines on which, since 1926, particle physics is based. The other, quantum mechanics, does not, in fact cannot, receive full treatment in the present enterprise. An essay on the subject is included, however. The successful interplay between theory and experiment has been a main criterion in the selection of materials included in this book, which opens with an introductory chapter that contains an outline of all that comes after. Then follows the main part, a history of the period 1895 to 1945. The later years are treated as a memoir. Reference to fundamental progress in the recent past is to be included, even though the perspective is limited, since otherwise I would be telling a joke without giving the punchline. A word to the wise, no cosmology, no topology, however. I have inserted occasional remarks on prominent personalities of earlier generations. A list is found in Chapter 1. These comments are meant as witness in the spirit of Aubrey's brief lives, rather than as shot biographies. Each chapter has its own set of references. At the end of many chapters, I have collected a list of sources that have been particularly helpful to me. I have many friends to thank for their generous help. Louis Alvarez, Clifford Butler, Rod Kuhl, Jason Goldenhammer, Leon Lederman, Bill Kirk, Ed Lofgren, Pierre Panofsky, Ahad Elsner, George Rochester, Carlo Rabier, and Nick Samuels have given me counsel on experimental issues. Robert Evans and Louis Thomas have helped me with Chapter 5. Gloria Lubakin has briefed me on the American Institute of Physics. Laurie Brown and Michiji Konuma on physics in Japan. I'm greatly indebted to Howard Georgi, David Gross, Rex Jost, and Arthur Whiteman for wise comments. Most of all, I'm beholden to Sam Twyman, who has read and discussed with me all of the several stages of that manuscript. His supportive criticism, encouragement, and friendship have been invaluable. He has seen me through difficult moments. Thank you, all of you. Finally, I should like to express my gratitude to the Alfred P. Slogan Foundation for a grant in support of this project, and to the staff of Oxford University Press for their devoted support. Abraham Pais, New York, July 1985.